Many years ago, there was a boy named Jordan. I know, scary. But when he was 8 or 9, he was going through a very confusing and nerve-wracking period in his life, understanding his sexuality. When he turned 10 or 11, he realized he liked men. Gay! Welcome to his coming out story. Hope you enjoy. Happy Pride Month, everyone. For today's YouTube video, I will be doing my rainbow makeup look. I'll insert a picture if I can find one. And I will be talking and explaining my coming out story just as it is Pride Month. Obviously, it's the 1st of June when this comes up. I've got some cute rainbow nails. I got this, and obviously I'm going to be doing my rainbow eyeshadow look. So let's just get straight into it. I did also do like some little notes on my old phone, just so I don't miss anything, because I filmed this a few times and I have missed a lot of things that I wanted to talk about. So literally I've got notes. So just so I stay on track and explain what I need to explain. We are going to start off with the eyeshadow look, just because it is just one of the hardest parts, I would say. Let me just find a brush. First colour I'm going to do is red. Okay. When it comes to my coming out story, it is kind of complicated to talk about. So I'll probably be going a lot. But I have 3 separate coming out stories. One is to do with obviously coming out to my dad and my stepmom or ex-stepmom. The second is coming out to my mum, and then the third is when I actually came out to like everyone at school and everything. So to start off with my dad, basically, well, just before that, I did, like I was questioning my sexuality in like year 4. I didn't really understand anything, like absolutely anything. You know, I didn't know what gay, lesbian, straight, any of that stuff was, until obviously a few years later. And I think I was about 8 or 9 in year 4. I'm not too sure when it comes to years, just because, you know, it's been a hot minute. I do just need to quickly grab a baby wipe, just because I've gone too far out with the red. But yeah, basically I think I was like 8 or 9 when I really started, like, I was questioning it. It wasn't like a massive thing, it was just like, you know, I looked at guys and I was like, you know, it was a feeling. I wouldn't really say I was questioning, it was more of like a feeling that I never actually understood properly. So I was feeling a specific way. And basically in year 5, like literally like the next year, this is when I actually like properly started questioning it, because it was, I wouldn't say it was more intense. It was becoming more of like a thing in my life. So obviously it was on my mind a lot more. It kind of confused me a lot more, and I didn't understand anything. Like I didn't understand it, because obviously around me I saw like all my friends who were girls were going out with guys, and obviously the guys going out with girls. I didn't see any guys going out with guys, so my brain was a little bit like fuddled, and I just didn't know what to do. And it just became a massive problem, and I feel like this is when I started like getting like really angry towards people, and I just feel like I got a bit more unhappy. Not extremely, like, bad, but it wasn't good, and I feel like that's kind of when the problems started probably happening. Which wasn't fun because no one actually understood why I was being a little bit rude or like mean or whatever. Obviously except me. Well, I don't think I actually knew that that was the reason. I feel like you don't actually know that you're lashing out and being rude when you're going through that kind of thing. It just happens naturally. Which obviously is no excuse, you know. I do apologise for my rudeness and my bad behaviour when it comes to being a person. But obviously then it was just, I didn't really notice what I was doing. I didn't notice how annoying and rude and disrespectful I was being. But then in year 6, it started getting like really bad, and I feel like I distanced myself quite a fair bit from everyone, including my family, because at this point I kind of understood what was like, how I was feeling and why I was feeling that way. But obviously at home there was always like remarks or like comments to do with being gay, so I really just didn't feel comfortable. I didn't like being gay. I didn't want to be gay. I actually saw being gay as a bad thing. And obviously I kept getting called all that, just disrespectful words, really. I don't know if they were just joking or messing around, but obviously as they didn't know, I just kind of felt like they meant it. So I didn't really feel, so I always kind of thought gay was wrong, and it was wrong to be gay, which sounds stupid, I know, but yeah. And then I think the start of year 7, there was this guy. He was a lot old, well, I wouldn't say a lot, he was fairly older than me. I think I was about 9 or 10, can't not tell you which one, but one of them. And he kind of introduced me to, so I kind of watched it, and at that point, that's when I was like 100% yes, I'm gay, I like men, that's that, point blank period, I know. And we did stuff. And it was also my first time, you know, and yeah, it was okay at first, but then we did it more and more. But then it got to a point that one time, because we did it near the woods, woods place near our house, and there was one time where he wouldn't let me like leave until he did it to me, and obviously I was like, absolutely, definitely not. So I managed to like budge past him and leave, but he obviously kept getting in my way before that, but I managed to leave. And then literally after that day, never ever spoke to him again, just because it was scary at the time. But obviously thinking that I was okay, because obviously when I did watch, I cleared my browser history, but what I didn't know was that my dad actually had this app where they could see what you were doing on your phone. So even though I deleted it, he still saw it. So I obviously got grounded for watching, which obviously I get, I was young. But he says to this day, well, I don't know what he says to this day, don't talk to him. But he says that I was not grounded until I came out as gay. But yet my stepmom literally turned around and said, because there was Elf on TV downstairs, and I wanted to watch it, and I was like, can I go downstairs and watch Elf? And she was like, you can be ungrounded when you admit that you were gay. So realistically, even if he didn't say it, he could have still said, no, he's grounded until I say he's ungrounded. But he didn't. Instead, we went on plan and we wanted. Obviously my stepmom. And yeah, but I was too scared to come out as gay, so I literally sat there and said, I said it like I accidentally said it, so I was like, why does it matter if I'm gay? Like, if I'm gay, I'm gay, I don't need to come out. So obviously I confessed, but at the time I thought it was like, I confessed without confessing, but I still confessed. So, you know, wasn't the smartest plan, but hey ho. And then literally I confessed in a way, in my own type of way, and I was ungrounded and I went downstairs and I watched Elf. So if that wasn't the plan, then tell me why I was ungrounded after I admitted I was gay. Doesn't make sense, doesn't add up. So clearly I'm correct, and that was the only reason I got ungrounded. If I didn't sit there and admit I was gay, obviously they would probably unground me eventually, but you know, being a kid, being grounded for like 5 minutes is like being grounded for like 10 hours. But yeah, I admitted I was gay, and then voila, I was ungrounded. But, you know, whatever, dad's always right, I guess, whatever, he just thinks he's right. He likes manipulating the truth. I remember it as pure as day, because that was very scarring, and I was very, very, very off that I had to be forced to come out when I physically wasn't ready. But once I came out, oh my God, treated me completely differently. They did not like me at all. They say it's because, it's not because, obviously, I'm gay, but you ain't proven anything, to be honest with you, Jolyn. And then it got to a point where it was so bad, I wanted to actually leave and go live with my mum again, because previously we got taken off of her before. Also, this is the eye number 1. Obviously, I need to go over with concealer just to like touch it up a little bit. But yeah, so it got so bad, I wanted to actually leave and go live with my mum again, just because I feel like things with dad just got too toxic, and it was just not the vibe for me, and I just didn't feel comfortable. I didn't feel not safe, but didn't feel like I belonged there, should I say. And it was very uncomfortable being there. Obviously I feel like they told my grandparents and everyone, and then I just feel like everyone was looking at me in disgust, or like just differently, like they didn't see me for who I was all along. So it just kind of made me a bit mental. So I got really like naughty, just to obviously get moved to my mum. And then eventually I got my mum's number, we spoke a little bit, and then I was meant to go up there to see her and be with her for a week. But in the car ride to my mum, my dad kept turning around saying, refuse to come home, the police can't drag you back. Basically, they didn't want me there anymore, which couldn't really care less. Do what you gotta do, don't give a shit. So obviously that came, I refused to come home, I said I don't want to be there, social services and everything got involved, and I refused to go, and then me and mum had to do an assessment for me to obviously be able to live with her. And make sure it's what would be best for me, because obviously they don't want to put you somewhere where they don't know if it's the best idea. So yeah, we passed the assessment, I got to stay with mum. How's the rainbow go? Red, orange, yellow, green. So yeah, I got to live with my mum, which is what I wanted at the time, and it was good. It was good for a bit, and then because when I moved up here, we stayed with our cousin, but then mum and her cousin had an argument, and we got kicked out, so we had to stay with her boyfriend at the time, and obviously he lived in a room. So for a few days, I was sharing the same room as my mum and her boyfriend, which, by the way, not fun. Do not recommend. absolutely not. I've always wanted a close family, but not that close. So yeah, that was horrible. But then they broke up, and we got the council put us in a B&B. Absolutely disgusting. Kitchen was full of mold. It was horrible. It was torture, and it was so embarrassing because I started school whilst I was in a B&B, and obviously, you know, kids love bullying. So I kind of kept that secret, so no one actually knew that I lived in a B&B. Well, I think my friends did. But yeah, so I lived in a B&B, wasn't fun at all, hated it. And then we got moved in to a flat like a few months after that. But whilst I was in there, I had an iPad. My grandparents bought it for me just because I had nothing. And I had a boyfriend. A long distance boyfriend. Stupid. Like literally like, I think it was in America or something. I know. Crazy distance. But obviously we were texting on my iPad on Instagram, and I was like, oh, I love you, blah blah blah, and he was like, love you too, and all that stuff. And then mum took my laptop. I can't remember why she took my laptop. No, my laptop, my iPad. Why did she take it? I don't know. But she saw obviously the messages between me and him, and obviously they said I love you. So she kind of like turned to me, and she looked at me and she was like, are you gay? And then obviously from the experience I had, obviously with my dad, I just bursted out in tears, crying my little heart out, because I was just like, great, it's gonna go back to being awkward and stuff. I have no parents now, so that's fun. And she kind of just obviously saw me break down, and then I think something clicked in her or something. And then obviously when I said yeah, she came over and she was like, I think she said like, it doesn't matter, or you're still my son, I love you, blah 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 blah. I think she like nearly cried a little bit, I'm not too sure. I was too busy bawling my eyes out like so I couldn't tell you her like proper reaction, but she still treated me the exact same. I don't know if that's just because obviously she hadn't seen me in forever, so it's like I couldn't really get the vibe of how she would normally act. Like it was already like, I don't want to sound rude, but it was already awkward for me to like talk to her and stuff, just because it's been so long since I've seen her that we didn't really have that like proper like connection. And then yeah, I feel like from there, obviously she knew, no one else knew at this point, and obviously everyone in school started coming up to me, talking to me, and they said, why do you sound like that? And I was like, what? And they were like, you sound like you're gay or from Essex. And obviously I did not want to confess that I was gay, so I was like, oh, I'm from Essex. Absolute lie. But you know, so like, I don't care, don't want to admit that I'm gay, absolutely not. Because I already got bullied for being gay when I haven't even came out as gay. Like, I know it's probably obvious, like, you know, I'm not the straightest acting person ever, but, you know, I was already getting bullied for it. Sorry, the storage on my phone got full. But I finished the eyes. Next step, I think, is the bronzer. But yeah, as I was saying, nothing really changed between me and my mum. It kind of just stayed the same, which was good. But one of the things she said was, have you told Chelsea, or does Chelsea know? And I was like, no. I want to tell her when I'm ready, because I wasn't even ready to come out then, let's be honest. But then obviously, you know, kind of couldn't hide it. And then I thought we had like an understanding and stuff. I thought we had a little agreement, and she understood what obviously I wanted. And then eventually I managed to get the courage and tell Chelsea. I didn't tell her, like, I didn't want to tell her because I was scared that she would like leave and stuff and like off completely. but I just didn't want to tell her because I just wasn't ready in myself to come out, because it's scary and it's horrible, and even though people are all right with it, it's still like the anxiety and the fucking trauma from all the times it didn't work properly, you know? So that was my problem. You know, I just wasn't mentally there. I was just mentally unprepared. But when I was able to tell her, she was like, I know, mum told me. And I'm like, excuse me? What are you trying to say? And she was like, yeah, mum told me. I already know. And she was like, no offense, I knew anyway. And I was like, oh, okay, appreciate that. So that was not fun. I'm not gonna lie, it did annoy me a hell of a lot. I did not appreciate that. That was my, obviously, thing that I wanted to do, especially when it came to Chelsea, because I wanted her to know from me, because obviously me and her are actually really close. And we still are now, obviously. But I wanted to be the one to come out to her. And I just don't appreciate that it was done behind my back. And mum didn't even tell me about it either. So it's a bit like fake. But obviously that time has passed. I'm not really that fussed anymore. At the time, it was a massive thing for me, and it did break the trust I had quite a bit in my mum. And then other things broke it, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, it was really jarring, and it was a little bit upsetting, to be honest, especially as, you know, you thought you could trust and you couldn't. I know this is a big forehead. Please just try and ignore it. Focus on my words, not the raging. What's the biggest planet? Saturn? The Saturn forehead, okay? I get it. It's massive. I struggle with it every day. But yeah, and then it just got to a point where I was like, well, the people I actually care about know, and they don't care about it. Like, obviously they care, like, you know, they're happy I came out, all that stuff, but they just don't care in the sense of it's like not an issue for them. Like, they're happy about it, they're proud about it, like, you know, they're not ashamed about it. And I was like, well, I'm getting bullied for being gay anyway. Why just keep lying and hiding who I am? Rather just be happy. To be honest, I would rather lose friends over it than be unhappy and be miserable and angry and just be an angry human being. Because it was still an issue, even though I came out to my sister and everything, it was still an issue for me, and it was still hard because I still had to like try and pretend and be someone who I wasn't. Like, I know I wanted to do makeup, I know I wanted to wear like more girly clothes. Well, girly, because anyone can wear them, but they're just designed for girls. I just wanted to do more feminine things and not kind of shy away from it, if you get what I mean. Like, obviously I did some things with my friends just because, you know, they were friends. It wasn't really a problem. Well, for me, it wasn't a problem. You know, I trusted them a lot, even though trust was previously broken. But I trusted them, and then we had fun. We had a good time. But then it just got to a point where I was like, I need to just come out. Like, I'm getting bullied anyway. Who actually cares? Like, I'm gonna lose some people. Oh, well, too bad, so sad, cry me a river. So then I posted something on Facebook. Let me find it. So I found it. It was posted on the 23rd of April, 2016. And it said, okay, so it took me some time. Obviously it says times, but I was meant to say time. Time to come to terms with this, but think it's now time to say it. Yes, I'm gay. And I said, yes, I'm gay, because like obviously people kept asking me and I kept denying it and whatever. So I just said, yes, I'm gay. So many people ask me every day. I get bullied and mocked for it and never even said I was gay. So might as well just come out as gonna get bullied either way. But thank you to everyone who supports me, and whoever doesn't, as I'm sure I will lose a lot of people, which I did. Good, no time for fake two-faced haters. Love you all. Dread to think what school's gonna be like on Monday. And I said that because I literally did this on the Saturday and we had school on the Monday. So I just knew, obviously it had like 2 days to like go around. I'm sure people were gonna spread it. Pretty obvious, wouldn't shock me at all. So yeah, and I literally did that, and then I literally went, like, I put my phone away and I just went to, I think I went to bed because I was really scared about how obviously certain people would take it. Obviously I knew some people would probably be okay with it, like my friends. I was pretty sure that they were gonna be alright and survive. But I just didn't know how else it would go, because I think I had also like some other family members on Facebook at the time, so I was a bit like, oh, will they, won't they? Because obviously I think they were told, obviously, by Big Mouth Dad, but they obviously I didn't see them for them to comment on it, and obviously if they saw it I didn't know if they would like comment and obviously say what they think. So yeah, but the next day I did look at it and it had like, I think it had like 60 something likes. It had loads, like 100 and something comments. Obviously conversations, not like 114 people commented. But yeah, it did really well. A lot of people accepted it and was supportive of it. Sorry, I really don't like putting mascara on. And even some people that I didn't like think would accept it and be okay with it, they were. So that was a big plus. But obviously with people accepting it, obviously that is people who didn't. There are people also that sat there and said they were okay with it, but you could just tell they weren't. I literally forgot to do blush, so I'm gonna do that now. They weren't okay with it, but you could kind of see that they were trying, which I appreciate it, you know. I'm not saying everyone should like gays, like you should, like no. Like if other gay people think different, then too bad, so sad for you. That is not how it works. I'm not gonna sit there and force you to like me. Obviously, I expect you to not be rude and disrespectful for absolutely no reason. Like, there's just no need to comment on it and disrespect me about it. Especially if my life has nothing to do with you at all. Which obviously people love to bully and shame for no reason. Like, you do yourself, you look at yourself in the mirror and you leave me alone because it has nothing to do with you. Don't like it, leave. You know, stay away from me. It's as simple as that. Obviously the bullying did get quite a bit worse because obviously now they knew I was gay. So that was an issue. But didn't really care because I was a lot more happy. I felt a lot more free. And I felt like I wasn't as gobby. I wasn't a little, you know, to put it lightly. I feel like I was a lot more happier in myself. Obviously there were days where I was just like, oh my god, I hate myself, I hate my life, like absolutely not. But I felt more free, like I didn't have to hide. It was a lot less exhausting pretending to be something I'm not. But yeah, it was hard, it was tough, but obviously I'm not in school anymore or anything, so when I look back at it, I do think it was pretty stupid. And looking back on how people treated me when they found out, and obviously dealing with the stuff, it made me realise how fake some people were. Like, some people pretended to be okay with it, but they were actually just me off behind my back to other people. And then obviously my friends would come up to me, because they were also friends with them said people, And then my friends would tell me what they've said, and I'm just sitting like, oh, okay, fake. Like, how sad and pathetic are you? Like, you're actually, like, just a little at this point. Like, don't like me, say it to my face, you know. You not being in my life is not gonna upset me. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to cope. I don't have a brush for highlighter, so I'm just gonna, like, I can't even dip my... So yeah, like, you're not that important. Don't really care. Like, if you want to be fake, don't think I, like, care that you are not in my life. Like, it's just as simple as that. Like, I really just don't like fake. But yeah, and there was also one girl who turned around and said that her dad said that I'm not actually gay and I'm just pretending to be gay so I can get closer to the women. And I'm like, well, it's a bit like, this was like, I think it was like a year after or a year and a half after I came out. I was like, well, it's a bit late considering I've like literally had sex with multiple men at this point. Like, I did have a phase of being a but it's like, why would I go to that extent just to get closer to women? Like, absolutely not. Like, women's down there parts, just, ew, absolutely not. I just, obviously I get it if you like it, cool, good for you, but for me, absolutely not. Never, ever, 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 ever. Seen it, don't like it, have never gone like near it in that aspect, but just like, no. I just know, it's not for me. But when I heard her say that, it just absolutely like jarred me. Like, why would I go through bullying hell? I was actually being physically abused. I had dog poo chucked at me. I was cornered. I went to an alternative provision for school because obviously I got kicked out because I defended myself. They said, don't report everything to us, like, take it upon yourself, like, we can't do everything. So then obviously I got into a lot of beef and I got really mouthy and, you know, I stuck up for myself and they didn't like it, so they kicked me out of school. So I went to an alternative school and one of the teachers there actually had to drive me home because a group of these guys who were there who didn't like my sexuality were literally waiting around the corner for me. And yeah, it was ridiculous. And I obviously I got the police involved because obviously I kept getting told to get the police involved, especially for like the dog poop and obviously the actual physical assault. They write it down and did absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. They are useless. I don't care what anyone says. They sit there and say they're going to help. They do not help. I don't know if they help now. I obviously don't really need to do anything because if someone says anything to me, it's normally online. I'm just like, yeah, kiss. But yeah, I just think it was a roller coaster and I have lost a lot of people. I've been off and like befriended and then like just to me off by a lot of people. And obviously at the time when you're young, it's like a massive like impact and it hurts so much and you just act like a little bit of a child. But then as you grow up, it's just like, why did I care? Like, you're stupid, like, you're fake. See you later, cheerio, ta-ta, you're gonna be alone for the rest of your life. Period. Like, you know, whatever. But yeah, it was a lot of breakdowns, I must admit. Got kicked out of a few schools. Because I even got kicked out of school for homophobia because there was someone with the name gay at the start, and obviously when I'm angry I stutter sometimes, and I was like, Mr. Gay, 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 and then obviously I said like the last bit, and then he kicked me out for homophobia, and I literally turned around and said to him, how am I homophobic when I am going to go home after this school day and go my boyfriend? Like, make that make sense. You're just an idiot. But yeah, it was crazy. It was hard. Talking about it is like uncomfortable in a way because it's just hard to find the words and put it together. So I am sorry if it's a little bit like grab, like just all over the place. So I have finished the makeup look. I'm just gonna give you a little closer. I love it. I think it turned out really good. I feel like my blending has gotten a lot better since the last time I did it. But yeah, I think it looks cute. So you know I'm gonna take some Instagram pictures. So definitely go to my Instagram and like them. And I definitely recommend watching, listening, and just understanding people's coming out stories before you do it yourself if you haven't, or if you have and it was rubbish. Definitely read other people's, listen to other people's, watch other people's, because you'll realise you're not alone in that aspect, and I feel like it'll make you cope and understand it, and eventually one day appreciate that you did that and took that step. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Love you guys so much. Happy Pride Month.